everyone, welcome to Bickering Book Reviews. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Becky.
And today we're talking about All My Love, Alec Brock by Larissa Lopes.
Yep. I think that's what I say.
And so she reached out to us through Twitter and our website.
I saw it on Goodreads.
Oh, okay, Goodreads. Sorry.
Yeah.
I saw it on Twitter, so. And so she offered us a copy, and so we read it for her. All right, so basically this is about Linda, who has had an online cyber boyfriend for over a year. He is this kind of, when she first met him, he wasn't a singer superstar, but now his career has kind of taken off, and so he is currently like this superstar. Living in California, and so her parents are divorced. She currently lives in West Virginia, but her father lives near Hollywood. I'm very unsure of the geography of California.
Oh.
I know it, but I don't know it. But anyway, so her father lives out near where her cyber boyfriend lives. So
she's in Los Angeles.
Thank you. It's isn't Hollywood near Los Angeles? Is it part of it? How does that all work? Well, we're not going to get into that. But basically, I don't know that part of it. Anyway, so she lives in West Virginia, but basically has decided to spend her senior year living with her father in Los Angeles, in hopes to get closer with her boyfriend, who is Alec. And she just decides basically that she's going to surprise him. And so when she gets out there to surprise him, he has no idea who she is. So she realizes basically that she's been catfished. And this is set during a time, in 2003, so, social media catfishing, wasn't a thing. Because she doesn't actually call it catfishing, but that's what it was.
Is it 2003 or is it even earlier than that?
I thought it was 2003.
Okay.
But anyway, kind of as turns of events go on, Alec actually offers to kind of start helping her. Figure out, who's using his name in vain and, who did this to her, and so they kind of develop a real life, friendship, relationship kind of thing. And that's basically it. So yeah, I don't know. Where do you want to start?
So I liked the idea of this book better than I actually like the execution. I think it's a good idea. And I think...
Well, because I think...
Well, she said in the note that this basically happened to her.
Yeah, that this happened to her.
Yeah, this basically happened to her.
And I think it was a good idea. And actually, I didn't... I enjoyed it. It moved quickly for me, I think.
See, I could never really get into the narrative voice. I had a hard time with this one.
I think there were, tweaks that could have made it better. I think that selling it as a YA romance is kind of challenging because it's essentially somebody looking back, an adult looking back on their life and telling us a story. So, that kind of framing is challenging.
Yeah, the framing kind of threw me, I was not a fan of the framing. And maybe, honestly, if it just didn't have the framing, if it just started with her as a teen instead of, her as an adult looking back.
The framing is challenging, but then also, I think, getting into the setting, I think it didn't necessarily need to be set in 2003 because you're really not changing. Key parts of the story would not be impacted if you brought it to contemporary times.
Right.
So I think those little tweaks, had they been done, I think it would have worked better. But I enjoyed the romance. I enjoyed the main character. I enjoyed the Alec. I wish she had more friends.
Well, yeah.
At school, I wish that there was kind of more of a layer to her in that regard. But I also feel like the way things were written, it felt very realistic. It didn't feel as fantastical when things would happen. I don't even know, what examples to use to describe that, but it felt like a very real insight into, this happening. And that's why I kind of keep coming back to it's probably very much representative of the author's experience. So it also feels really weird to kind of comment on this story because I think it's very much tied to her experience. I think near the end, though, I started to kind of get a little irritated with Alec because he very much became a controlling kind of guy. Like, he knew all of her doctors, like, and like they were so intertwined at one point that like he knows kind of what's going on mentally with her and like physically, and it was all just very like, that doesn't sit well with me. However, I think that sometimes happens in romance books, and so maybe because I don't read as many romance books, maybe that's why it didn't sit as well with me.
And I think that's one of the things that kind of threw me off, because I do read more romance books, and to me it didn't feel like a romance book. And it's being marketed as a romance book, and it's packaged as a romance book, and I think that the publisher is kind of like, that's their thing. And to me it just...
Well, what did it feel like then?
I don't even know. It didn't really feel like anything. And like I said, like you said, it's hard to comment because I think this is her experience, and maybe I won't even give it a rating because of that. But because I feel like it's weird to rate somebody's life, you know?
Yeah.
But I just like I said, I had a hard time with it, and like as a person who reads a lot of YA romances, I was just kind of like...
Well, you even read adult romances.
I do.
To a degree that I don't.
No, yeah, and it didn't grab me at like all, like...
Okay.
Like, I was kind of expecting like a Jen Bennett, Katie McGarry kind of story, and to me it just didn't feel like that.
I don't know. It did, you know, it reminded me a little bit of, there were two books, I can't remember the second one, but it definitely reminded me of Kill the Boy Band. A little bit.
Which is not a good thing necessarily, because I really disliked Kill the Boy Band.
Yeah, but I didn't. I mean, I was in an okay place with it. Like, it wasn't my favorite, but like, I felt vibes of Kill the Boy Band, but like in a positive way. Like, not the negative things from Kill the Boy Band.
Yeah.
Anyway, we probably should just rate it. So, are we going to rate it? Do we want to rate it? I
feel weird rating it because
since we were approached by the author, I feel like in the past, though, we don't, like, when we've been approached by the author and given the book, we don't rate it.
Right. Plus, so I feel weird rating it because it's, like, based on her life. So that's just our thoughts.
So those are our thoughts.
On what was Love.
Let me get the whole title, because it's the Alec Brock series. The title is All My Love, Alec Brock by Larissa Lopes.
And we'll see you around.
Thank you. See you around.